What's up? What's up? What's up? This is Fired Up Friday with Steve Ryan. Woohoo! All right, so today on this version of Fired Up Friday, we're going to do something new, which I told you guys before that I want to. It's been suggested to have people on the show. So the very first guest on Fired Up Friday is Rich Vysion. That's Vision with the Y, Vysion. So say what's up, Rich.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing? Good to be here. Such a pleasure.
So Rich is a rapper, but Rich, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, you know, what you do, what's your style, what's up?
Yeah, I'm a rapper. More like kind of like a spoken word type of rapper. I'm really into like deep messages about like inspiration as far as like self-worth, and being confident, chasing your dreams. And some of the messaging and my content that I would love to be able to share with the world really soon.
Cool. And you have any music out now or any music coming up or?
Yes, I just recorded my first debut single 2 weeks ago. It was an incredible experience for me because prior to that, it's been really 5 years since being in a professional studio. So it was, a lot of anxiety and nervousness to get back at it, but it felt good knowing that like I had the support system of my producer, which is also a co-writer that I've been working with behind the scenes for
Oh, can you speak up just a little
years.
bit?
Yeah, no problem. I'm gonna probably hide this
There we
one.
go.
Is
We
it better?
want to hear you.
Yeah. I was working with a producer that I've been writing with for a couple of years now behind the scenes. And we wrote the song together, and she ended up flying out from LA to New York to help me with the vocals. So I was very fortunate to have her in the studio with me as I was recording, and then I also had my vocal arranger via Zoom um, helped me with some of the vocals as well, give me live feedback, which is very invaluable. And I had a lot of support during that time, so I'm just grateful for that whole experience, honestly.
Oh, cool. That's what's up. So what's this? If you care to share, like, what's this song about? Like this single that's coming up?
Yeah, the backstory of the single is really interesting because it was really created in a really dark place in my life where I was going through a lot of rough patches as far as like really, really deep in depression. I was kind of feeling like I alienated from family and friends. I basically kind of just like, was in my room most of the time and really internalizing a lot of the stuff that people used to say about me in regards to the music I put out, and it really didn't do any good for my mental health to the point where it allowed me to spiral down uncontrollably, where I had to confide in a therapist to help me really to gain the confidence and the self-worth in myself again, because it was really difficult, honestly, to deal with it on my own. I was kind of felt like I was alone, and I wrote this song as a way to like heal myself from those wounds that I was going through at that moment. And I felt like this is kind of like my victory lap, knowing that like I went through this situation because of the fact that I was giving too much power to what other people were saying, and I was being reliant on other people to make me feel worthy instead of finding out what deep inside myself. And that's a lesson that I had to learn. It sucks, that it's always the hard way, but I'm fortunate that it was a lesson that I learned, and I could just take it from that experience. I could really teach other people to do the same in their life to try to find that self worth within themselves also, as well.
Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like you went through some deep stuff. Especially with how others judge you. how you let that affect you, how other people judged you, and that you've progressed as an artist as a result. And this is why, even though some people may be like, you're always talking mindset is super important. It really, really is. That can impact how we feel. Like, people have to understand depression and things like suicide, those things are real, and it's all because of like how someone thinks. And you're a prime example of someone who has overcome the things that you've been going through to get to where you are now, so that you can bring your artistry to the world and express where you're at now. So that's good that you have that support system, and you have like a producer that's working with you that's willing to fly across the country just to go in the studio with you. That says a lot. So where do you have like a website or anything, or where can people like find you, and if they want to shout out or jump on your email list or something like that?
Yes, I'm working on a landing page right now. I'm just trying to get everything together. It's my first time trying to build a email list from scratch. So it's taking a lot of time for me to just get that up and running as far as like a website is concerned, a landing page. But I have some materials on Instagram. Like, I have a TikTok. Everything is Rich Vision, which is RICHVYSION. Um, and you could just spell it as if it was one word, and you find me on a bunch of different platforms like Instagram, SoundCloud. I'm working on trying to expand my social presence, and hopefully soon I will be able to just release a song to you guys and share some of um, the experiences I've been having that I've kind of held back from sharing. And that studio session was interesting also because not only did I not record in the studio for so long, I kind of felt like I didn't have the permission, for myself to do music, honestly, up to this point. And prior to recording the song, there was a lot of controversy behind the scenes, to the point where I kind of wanted to even scrap the whole project, because I honestly felt like it was affecting my mental health, and I had to really realize, like, is this song gonna be more important than my mental health? And then for a moment I said, not really. So I kind of almost took a left turn, so to speak, because I want to make sure that I'm okay first in order for me to release my music. You know what I mean? And also I just wanted to be in that right mental space when it comes to recording. I didn't want to have this heavy feeling of like regret, or you know what I mean. I wanted to go in there with high spirits and high energy for the song itself. So I'm really, really glad that I had people who were supporting me through the process and said, no, you need to do this. You know what I mean? Like, you need to get this done. You need to be in the studio, and you need to knock out this record.
That makes sense. So basically what he was saying for everyone is the website is richvision.com. So that's RICHVYSION.com. And also you can find him on the different platforms, SoundCloud, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, under that same name, Rich Vision. Thank you for sharing what you went through. That takes a lot to even come on here and share that, because you never know who else is going to need that or need to hear that. Because a lot of times, especially like when it's the rap genre, the perception is put out that, hard robots, like cool, we don't go through no problems, I mean, even though I'm not a rapper, I know a lot of rappers, and like that's the image that gets put out. And for you to be able to admit like, hey, I need to get my mental health right. I was going through these different things before I even want to record this project. That says a lot. So for anybody listening, if you have something that you're going through, you have mental, sometimes mental health can be seen so derogatory, and it's not derogatory. Mental health is mindset. It's your state of mind, how you feel. It could be I'm having a depressed week or whatever, but it's how you feel. And what Rich is saying is that he wanted to get his state of mind right first before going into the studio to do this song. And that takes a lot to come on here and to share his vision and to share his journey with everyone. That says a lot. So, I mean, hats off to him. You know, I know his stuff is going to be good. I've heard some of his stuff before. And, you know, do you have anything that's out there now, or is that all like down for now?
Well, I did a completely new rebrand, so a lot of my old stuff, to be honest, doesn't really speak for me, define for me. I felt like a lot of the stuff that I put out in the past really was kind of like a facade. Like it was music that I felt like people wanted to hear, not what I wanted to hear. And I want to make music that I love, and hopefully people will enjoy the music I love, and it'll be something that's healing for people and transformative. But I also want to make sure that like I'm, you know, confiding in my truth. You know what I mean? Like not
Right.
being, not kind of like wearing the mask like all the time, like showing people this side and behind the scenes I'm like this way. That's how I kind of was making music like in the past couple of years, and I kind of scrapped that and said, well, this is not me being honest. It's not me being real, and I can't live with myself if I put out music that doesn't really speak for me. Just period. That's not the integrity that I have for myself. I have a really high standard for the music I put out, and I want to make sure that everything is completely raw and also genuine.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. So, you know, basically this is pretty cool because in a lot of previous podcasts and videos, I talk to people about being honest with themselves. And so that's a great feat of courage for you to say, you know what, I'm not going to acknowledge the past stuff. I want what I represent now moving forward. And, you know, when it comes to things like that, it's no right or wrong to it. It's a personal decision. You know, like with some of my music in the past, I don't feel like some of my music represent who I am in terms of like where I'm at vocally, where I'm at producing wise, where I'm at, but my decision was a little bit different. And I've left all my stuff up because the fans have been with me and the supporters, their family, they've seen it along the way. But that's just mine. That's not to say that your way is wrong or anything, because I have a lot of respect for you to say, hey, no, I don't want this out there. I'm going to do this. But this is an example of like how being honest with ourselves is really key. And if that means you want your stuff taken down or you want to leave it up, is no right or wrong. It's just for me. Sometimes I do hear old stuff and I'm like, it's. I know my new stuff is better, but I had to stop myself from doing that because at the time that's who I was, and this is who I've evolved into. And so I've decided I'm going to leave it up so people can see where I've come from. And with you, for you not wanting to deal with the old stuff is for a different reason. Your reason is what you're saying is because you felt like you weren't being honest. And I don't think that's a bad choice that you're making because it feels right to you. You're following your gut, and that's what matters. You should be able to follow your gut. And I feel like your supporters and people who are going to come on this journey with you, they're going to be real loyal because they're going to know that when they hear Rich, they're hearing real. When they hear Rich, they're hearing honesty. When they hear Rich, they know it's the real deal. That's what they're going to know. And so hats off. So in the meantime, hey, y'all go and check him out. I've heard some of his stuff, as far as that's not out yet, and it's pretty good. So it's pretty good, I think y'all are going to enjoy it. Now, So any other words of that you want to share or wisdom or
Yeah, yeah, I think this is a great conversation in general because I just honestly don't feel a lot of people, especially nowadays, being that I'm an accountability leader for a couple different pod groups in class, I feel like a lot of people are going through a lot of anxieties when it comes to this artistry field, just because, there's a lot of self-doubt. And I know there's a lot of self-sabotage, and it really breaks my heart because I feel like a lot of people don't have the permission to chase after their dream. And, for me doing, the songwriting class for a couple of years now, um, and I also learned that it takes a lot to step up to the plate and say, okay, I'm gonna commit to this, every year, come back and get better. You know what I mean? It's like it's one of those things that it's like you have to have that inner voice that says, you got a little bit more left in you. You know what I mean? And I feel like when it comes to like the people who are feeling that way, it's like, you know that music is what you're happy. Like it fills you up, it makes your day. So why would you um try to shy away from something that you love, and not give it 100% of your time? Like I think a lot of people really worry about like what other people think, and because of that, it really allows people to spiral downwards because they want the approval and the validation. But I honestly think that if you go with your dreams, like you chase your dreams and you have a ton of vision and say, well, even if I have two people who like my music, that's more than enough. And don't worry about the number game, like, oh, I need to have this many followers or this many people writing for me in order for me to feel validated, then to be honest, it's not something that's going to be fulfilling to you. You're always going to chase a number. Your fans are only going to be a number. And what I've learned, to be honest, with you over the couple of years, is last couple of years, rather, is just learning how to say, how do I, how can I be authentic and how can I bring value to somebody else with some of my things that I've been through in the past or through some of my lyrics, even if it's sharing lyrics through email, like how can I show value to someone saying that, okay, this is a rough draft of something I'm working on. What do you think of it? Even if it's not whatever perfect, it's just stepping up to the plate and saying like, okay, I'm willing to try again and make it work. You know what I mean? I'm gonna revise it two or three times to get it better. And I think having a good work ethic and having the will to say, I can do this and get better at it, I think it's gonna come a long way. And I honestly feel like, people who are doing this, like music and like in the music industry, we need to be more supportive towards each other, and we need to get out of this competition mentality where it's like, oh, I see us competition. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's really, it does a disservice to the people who are trying to get in because people see it as like, oh, like you always got to be number one or chase this, a title for some reason. I noticed, and I'm just like, well, it's not about that. It's about making the best music that you can and being the best version of yourself. And it's something that I'm learning, today in my world. I'm like, okay, by me being honest and open to other people, and even in music, people are saying, wow, like you said all of this in your music. Now I have the courage to step up and do the same. That's encouraging to somebody who's not feeling like they're worthy of putting out stuff because they think like, oh, maybe nobody's gonna care. So, I think what it will be a good takeaway from this whole call also is knowing that what can you do to bring someone value, whether it's your time, whether it's just holding the door for somebody. Like, what can you do to make somebody's day? And then me as an artist, my music is, my service to other people. So it's like, what song can I make right now that will change someone's life? You know what I mean? And also heal myself. So it's like so much self-reflection that it takes to really commit to this. And anybody who's watching this, I want you guys to feel empowered, knowing that I came a long way, really. Multiple times wanting to give up, multiple times, going through depression, thinking I'm not good enough, and comparing myself to a lot of people in the industry and feeling like I do not have the guts or the willpower to stand on that stage with all these other people who are just like leagues ahead of me. I kind of saw myself this victim story that I wasn't really worth anybody's time. But I realized that not only that I am worthy, I also have the capability of making songs that will really change someone's life. And I think people need to go back into like to realize that it's not gonna come easy, it's not gonna come fast, and it takes a lot of patience to be able to stick it out, knowing that you might not get, you know, stardom overnight, but one song and another song and another song, and you're getting really closer to your breakthrough. I just want people to know that the breakthrough is coming if you don't give up on yourself.
That's quite a bit, and that's some good information. That's real. It's a couple things that stood out. Actually, about three things. So one, I want to kind of take it back for a moment. This is the second time you mentioned permission, that you felt you had to give yourself permission. And that's a very interesting concept as far as permission, because it's almost as if it's almost like you had to overcome that self-doubt, that part of you that said, maybe this isn't meant for me to do, or I'm not the one that should be doing this, or this is somebody else should go ahead and do this. It's almost like it's more to it than just permission, but it's interesting that you're using the word permission, because it almost reminds me, not saying that this is imposter syndrome, but it kind of reminds me of imposter syndrome, to where it's like, am I good enough to where people want to hear me? Am I good enough to where somebody will want to, come and hear my song, or be a supporter of me and I impact their life? Who am I to do this? Who am I? And the thing is that it's okay not only to give yourself permission, but to say, you know what? I don't need permission to be me. I don't need permission to be an honest person and being true to myself. You don't need permission. So giving yourself permission, forget permission. You don't need permission. This is who you are. You're on this planet to help make a difference in other people's lives. And now you've gotten to a place where you can look back and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to be accountable to myself, and I'm going to be accountable to others while I'm accountable to myself, and make this happen. That takes a lot of courage. So hats off to you for being vulnerable and honest about sharing that, because that takes a lot of courage. But just remember, you don't need permission. You are worthy. You are in control of your gifts, and you're in control of wanting to bring this to the world, and following your dreams, and following your gut, and following what you want to do. And don't ever let anyone sway you from that. Because it's a lot of good information out here. I get it. But one thing I try to suggest to people is taking things and catering it to you. Just like me and Rich have had some coaching sessions, and I've given him some suggestions, and some of them he takes and some of them he don't. And I don't take it personal, because that's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to take things and cater it to what's true to him and what fits him. Because what works for me may not work for him, and vice versa. It's his path. And the most important thing on here that he said was he's here to serve other people. He's here to bring something to somebody else's life, right? There's one person, two person, how many ever people? I'm going to tell you, people do get caught up on numbers a lot. But what matters is how you're engaging with your audience. That's what matters. These social numbers don't matter, because I'm going to tell you, the reason why we've been conditioned to make social media numbers matter is because it's like, even before social media, it's like, you're cool if you're popular. You're cool if you fit these numbers. And if you have all these numbers, that means you're doing something and people like you and you mean something. From a business perspective, I can understand analytics, but at the end of the day, your journey and your path is wanting to connect with people. So what I tell people a lot is, what's the most important thing? What is the most important thing as an artist? Is it your Facebook? Is it your Instagram? Is it your TikTok? Is it your Twitter? It's none of those things. The most important thing is connecting to your fans. Connecting and making a difference to people. That's the most important thing. And that's why I tell artists, look, have an email list, which Rich does. You just go to richvysion.com with the Y and jump on his email list. And, that's a great thing, because like with my email list, if you're on my email list, you're hearing from me every week. Every single week, something's coming out. I give motivation, tips, because that's the thing. And whoever wants to be open to that, they jump on the list. And whoever don't, they can simply hit unsubscribe. It's no offense to me. In fact, I want you off the list if you don't want me in your world every week. So, and that's just that. And it's been great, because it's been growing. Yes, it's been some unsubscribes, but it's been a lot more subscribes than unsubscribes. And it feels so much cleaner, because I feel like everybody on the list want to be there now. So what Rich is saying is so awesome. That's what it's about. It's about connecting to people. It's just like right now, he's on here being vulnerable, telling you about his story. He's connecting. So follow him, and you're going to hear his stuff come out. You're going to hear, maybe he might give some demonstrations on his website or something, or give a little bit of snippet just to let some people know what's coming up. But that's on him. I'm just putting a plug in for what people probably want to say. But he's a good soul. You got to check him out. First official guest on Fired Up Friday. How about it? That's all right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure. If you have any last minute words, that's great. If not, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, I just want to just inspire people. Anything, that's my mission really, and I just want to be able to feel accomplished in this world. You know what I mean? And I want to be able to give back something that could really help someone change their life, for the better. I feel like there's a lot of negativity in the world, and there's a lot of animosity. And I just came to bring something different in hopes that someone will listen to what I have to say and receive it and really be able to just be touched by it. And I just want to be able to help people as much as I can doing my music.
Yeah, you're going to do it too. And I love what you said about the competition thing, because I'm hearing that a lot lately, as far as a lot of artists make it a competition, and it's not. And if anything, it should be a collaboration of creative energies bringing it to the world. And somebody who like one style may connect to that style, and a different set of people may connect to a different style, and some people may like all of it. But this notion of competition, I feel like it's some energy or force out there that's trying to make people just focus on numbers and focus on competing to try to keep everybody divided. Like those type of energies. And I feel like us coming together, just like even right now, hey, featuring you right now, you know, coming together and saying, hey, here's this person, world. It's okay. Let me move over. It's about Rich today. You know, like it's okay because you may touch some people that I don't, and I may touch some people that you don't, or we may touch some of the same people. But at the end of the day, it is about the spirit of collaboration. That was powerful what you said. It is about that spirit, and it's not about competition because we're in this together as artists. And all this stuff about beefs and going against each other and all that, like that's, yeah, it can be entertaining. I get it. But at the end of the day, it is, other than that value, I guess, for some people, is not serving. That's just my opinion about it. So I think this is great. I feel like you really are going to inspire people. Just getting on here, telling your story, somebody's going to hear this and be affected. I know it is. I know they are. They're going to know, like, hey, if he went through this, he got through that, and now he's following his dream, maybe I can follow my dream too. So this is awesome.
Well, this is very impactful for me. Even, you know, this is a random thing. I didn't know I was gonna be on live today, so this was definitely out of my routine. But I think sometimes it's good to break routine. You know, and this is definitely very meaningful to me because it's not all the time that I share some of these intimate things. And it really allows me to really open up and be more honest about some of the things that I've been facing that I kind of shied away from saying. And like I'm doing it more on the YouTube side and stuff, but being able to do it more on a regular basis, I think is important because I think what a lot of people are missing is that authenticity because we were kind of taught to like hide everything in and everything's okay. But I mean, honestly, transparency is so key. And I think when people are honest with themselves, I feel like people will get the help that they need, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, thank you so much for joining today and, you know, sharing your world. You know, appreciate it. So this is we're gonna wrap up Fired Up Friday, but Rich Vision with the Y, RICHVYSION. All right, this is another round of Fired Up Friday with Steve
Okay, guys.
Ryan
Thank you.
and Rich Vision today. All right, you all take care now. See you soon.